All right, Janiah, we're live. We're starting live over here, but now we are officially live. How does it feel to be joining us on our live stream? Weird. Janiah says weird. So Janiah, why don't you tell us a little bit of yourself, about yourself, and why you or what we're talking about today? Why don't you start with that? Talk up. You got to speak loudly so everyone can hear you. Okay. So first of all, like maybe your name and how old you are, what grade you're in.
I'm Janiah Spooner, and I am 11, and I don't know what grade I am.
Grade 6. Finishing up grade 6. Done, actually. We're finished for the year. I don't know how many of you guys are finished, but finished grade 6. And what are we talking about today?
School supplies.
School supplies. We're talking about school supplies and some of our favorites. We're going to be sharing. We've got some different things here to show you. So we're excited about that. We're going to start off with a little bit of news. I think that there's been a lot of questions on our site lately and on the app, and I want to make sure that there's clarity and that everybody knows what's going on. So we'll start off with some news, and then we're going to be moving over to school supplies. I will tell you, Janiah's favorite supply is surprising to me. And so I think that you guys are going to enjoy this live. It's always fun having your kids join you. And so, yeah, if your kids are around, tell them to come on in because, you know, they can ask their questions. And we would love for you guys to share your favorite school supplies in the comments as well. I know that a lot of moms, parents are shopping around now, and it's just helpful to hear from one another, right? Because sometimes we don't know. Maybe there's something new out there. FOMO is a real thing. And though it shouldn't be, it is. And so we're just going to talk about it today. It's going to be good. So I have a list of things that I am going to address. Let me see. I texted it to myself. So the first thing is, if you guys are joining us on the app, welcome. If you're not joining us on the app, you are missing out. The app is free. It is available on the App Store on either Android or Apple. It is the place where all our resources are. We have tons of freebies and resources, videos to go along with every single lesson to enrich your school. And it's a place where you can ask questions, and you can also just get to know more about Gather Round, and you can get official news and updates. We have contests and things that are happening there that don't happen anywhere else. And it's just a fun place to be. So I would encourage you to go check it out. You may have noticed if you are on the app that I have adjusted things a little bit. I found in official news, things were getting a little buried. So official news is just for me to post, you know, updates and news. And then in the help section, there is a place where you can post questions and get help from either us or from each other. And then there's also links and resources. So make sure you check out the app and download that. So there's been one of the main questions that's been asked lately is about our redos. So some of you may have seen, Janiah, do you want to grab our catalog? Can you find the catalog in the stack down there? There we go. Show it to everybody. This is our catalog for 2025. We just released it in the last week, and it is stunningly beautiful, and it's full of resources. Do you want to open it up? In the first few pages, there's one that's kind of like a chart. You see if you can find that and hold it open. It has, keep going. You'll see it. No, it's a different one. It might be behind that. Yeah, right there. Okay, hold that up and show everybody. On this page, there is supposed to be a handy resource that tells you things like, does it have seat work? Is there an MP3? And there's one section for, are there plans to rework? Now, the reason that we put that on there is because some people were asking, planning their year, and maybe they wanted to wait if there was any plans to rework that unit. That's brought up some questions. What does plans to rework mean? So let's talk about it. I don't 100% know until I get into that unit. I want to be super honest and say that. I don't have dates for when any of these plans to rework are going to happen. It could be in multiple years. I've pretty much scheduled out this year. We reworked, and I'll talk about that, the space unit. We just recently did our North American birds unit, and I am not intending to do any other ones this year. So the rest of this year, we're going to be focusing on the new ones, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's talk about what plans to rework could potentially mean. When we looked at North American birds, we decided that we loved the first one. People loved the first one. And we wanted to do actually 20 new birds. So we ended up just keeping one the same as kind of a tie-in, but it's entirely new birds. It's part 2. It is North American birds part 2. Our ocean unit was a little bit different. Oceans, we cover a lot of the same creatures, but in the first oceans one, you might have just had like 5 little facts about them in a little picture with some little factoids. Now we have a whole lesson on them. So our oceans unit, we redid it in the fact that it's all new content, all new lessons, all new student pages, much richer, much deeper. Now, there's some concerns over, does that mean that the original one is no longer available? It is available. It's not listed in here because it can cause some confusion. And our new one with all of the seat work and everything else is what we ultimately want people to be looking at if they're new to Gather Round. But for those of you who own it, if you want to buy anything, you can search for it on our site. You'll be able to get any of our original units. We'll always keep them behind the scenes. Even if they're not on the site, you could just email us and you'd be able to get whatever you need for that. So I want to make sure everybody knows we're not actually discontinuing as far as you being able to get access to it. But we are going to start advertising things that we feel like for our new customers are going to put our best foot forward, if that makes sense. I felt like our original Oceans was really light and it didn't really cover a lot about oceans. It actually was about ocean creatures. And so our new one is so much more about oceanography and marine biology and just goes so much richer and deeper that I feel like it is a better ocean unit, truthfully. And so that's the one that we have on our website, although you can search and find the other one as well. So I just want to clarify that. As far as the rest of the redos, no idea. Asia, there's so many more countries. I may do different countries and do a part 2, or I may redo it because I love the countries we did and want to go deeper and richer. The lessons were shorter. The pages were simpler. And I don't really know until I get into them and vision cast them and pray about them and ask the Lord. But just know that discontinued is not something that we're doing. All right. So hopefully that deals with any fears or concerns about that. I also think there's been a little bit of confusion. So Janiah, in there, can you flip to our coming soon page? It's toward the end. It's earlier than that though, before the math stuff. Yeah. Oh, we might have missed it. Go forward a little bit more. Oh, you found it. So again, our catalog is available for download. If you go to our website, it is also available for print, and you can get print for free right now with any print order, or you can grab it for $1. So don't miss this. So we have a coming soon page, and this tells you some of the new units that we are launching this year. So obviously astronomy and sci-fi, you guys already knew about astronomy. We're going to be releasing the sample hopefully in the next week or so here, so you can see that. And we are going to have astronomy available for the sale. Sci-fi, no promises, but I have a feeling I'm going to sit down and write it in a flurry, so we'll see what happens. So I'll tell you a little bit about each of these, but those are the ones you knew about. Aside from that, we have a 4th of July, and in the Canadian catalog, you'll see a Canada Day. We're doing a 1-day little lesson plan, fun freebie, not freebie, sorry. It's not going to be free, but it's going to be very, very, very inexpensive. So we're putting together this little like printable pack that you would be able to get, and we're hoping to have that ready for June at some point. So you guys have a bit of time. So it's on my list. But this one is coming. We've got these ones coming. And then you'll see some brand new units that I just last minute decided to throw on the docket, because why not? So we have, Janiah, which one are you most excited about here? You already told me which one you're most excited about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Weather and
natural. Remember natural disasters?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So weather and natural disasters. This is actually kind of our redo of earth science. So earth science is a mixture of geology and weather and space. And so now with the new astronomy unit, we already have rocks and minerals, and now we're going to have a weather and natural disasters. Again, earth science is still going to be available, but we now have broken it up rather than into sections like we did. We've now broken it up into different units. And so you're able to get earth science and actually get more of a credit by expanding it into multiple months rather than it just being a 1 month, which is not enough to get the credit that you need. So that's kind of our redo for earth science, by the way. But weather and natural disasters is going to be a ton of fun. We're looking at doing a novel study, and there is a poll right now over on our app about what you want that to be. It looks like it's leaning toward the Wing Feather Saga, but there are a lot of people that really want Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. And I'm praying about it. And I will let you know what I feel like the Lord leads us to do, and what we have time for. But I do eventually want to do both of these. So I'm excited about it. I wanted to talk a little bit about the 50 states. Some people are like, you're saying you have 8 units coming, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listed, 6 with the July 4th. Actually, our 50 states is 4 separate units. It's a series. So just like Connecting Continents was a series of all of those units, 50 states is going to be 4 separate units. It is not going to be mini units in that it's just going to have 2 pages per day. It's going to be a full unit in that it's going to have 5 pages per day. I think they're going to be so rich, and we're going to have 1 lesson on every state. And I think that there's just a lot that we'll be able to do. And so what will make it different is that we've broken it up into different regions. So we have the South, we have the Midwest. Some of those don't have, 20 lessons that I can do. So it's a full unit. And for the first time ever, I'm breaking the rules. And some of them may not have 20 lessons. In fact, they're all going to be a little bit different in the amount of lessons they have, but it's still a full unit in that there's 5 pages. So they're going to be 4 separate units to give you a pretty beefy chance at getting some credits toward your social studies, history. It's going to have every single lesson: economics, industry, culture, food, everything. We're gonna go everywhere. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. And you could either just choose one that's in your general area and get to know just the states around you, or you could choose to do them all and go on a tour through the United States. Those of you who are in Canada, honestly, I think these are amazing and fascinating. We encourage our US people to go and check out Alberta or Indigenous peoples. There's so much crossover. You will see so much of a connection between our Alberta unit and the Texas unit. And it's just fascinating to learn about and to see those connections. So stay tuned. Those are really exciting. All right, Janiah, are we through our news? Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's show that one right there. Yep. Okay. Did you see that last minute? We're last minute people here. We threw up a resource for Mother's Day, but it is not just for Mother's Day. It's for any day. It's called Gathered Memories. And this is because I have been my greatest regret, I guess, is that I have a bad memory, and that I often am so busy going through the motions in survival mode that I feel like I don't take the time to really appreciate or capture or treasure the moments that are all around me. I'm just getting through it. And so I don't have time to journal. I love journaling, but I really don't have time to commit to it. And so this is unique. Do you want to open it up and show us some of the inside pages? Boom, boom. Maybe zoom in a little bit so I can see the lines on it. Can you bring it closer? Okay, so every day, basically, and it's undated, so you could take 5 years to fill this in. That's okay. But every day, there's 365 little sections. It's enough for 2 to 3 sentences. And I keep it right by my bed, and I've just been writing in it just a little memory, what you did that day. You can use this over so much more than just tracking, quotes, things your kids say, things like that. You could use this as a school tracker, what you did. You could use this as a habit tracker. You could use this as whatever you want. But if you just want to have a way of recording even health, supplements, maybe you're trying to track, I ate this and I had this, whatever, you can use this for anything. It's really actually quite diverse. But it's beautiful and it's very inexpensive. So go check it out on our site. It is available in digital and print in the US and available in digital in Canada. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some of our school supplies. So I feel like we're going to be disappointing. And one of the reasons, and by the way, post your guys' school supplies in the comments, but one of the reasons I feel like we're going to be disappointing is because we buy print. And by buy print, I mean pay the money to print them and have people put them together for us. But basically, we use printed resources. So I don't have, a lot of you guys use laminators. You use, ProBind or punch systems or different things like that. You've got different printers that are like your must-have school supply because you're getting the digital, printing it out, and putting it together into a book. And so for you guys have a whole lot more school supplies that are needed. When you're ordering print, you really don't need a whole lot. There's very little that we need, and it's pretty basic, but we are going to talk about it today. And then I'm relying on you to post in the comments some of your favorite resources and supplies that you use. But I will tell you that we're pretty minimalistic, and I will share some of the reasons as to why we are minimalistic. All right, so I'm going to let Janiah choose one to share first, and then I'm going to choose one, and we're going to just talk about it. So why don't you go for it, honey?
Choose us
Any supply that you want to talk about. All right, what do you want to talk about this? Make sure you talk loud so the microphone can hear you.
What do I talk about?
Why do you recommend that every family have scissors?
So you can cut tape and craft and make a gift for Mother's Day.
Make a gift for Mother's Day. I mean, we need scissors. Do you like though the big ones or do you like the little ones?
Whatever can chop through tape so you can prank your siblings.
Chop through tape? Wow. So do you use scissors a lot in your actual school? Not as much now that you've upgraded into an older level.
Yeah.
You used to though. Some of our younger levels, like early reader, has a lot more cutting and pasting. Or lap books. When we did lap books, it was a ton of cutting and pasting. Did you like that?
It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Yeah. That's how I feel about it too. I feel like it's a lot of work and a lot of mess and a lot of little pieces of paper all over my floor. But I will say that this little guy right here is the most elusive of our school supplies. It is often nowhere to be found when I need it. I buy ones for, and this isn't just school, I buy ones for my kitchen. They sit in my little knife block. I sometimes buy extras and put them in a drawer. I keep them around strewn about my house. I buy them in large packs. And every single time I need a pair of scissors, they are nowhere to be found. Every time we are looking to do some sort of cutting project, I'm like, don't worry, I have a million. No, I don't. I don't have a million. Where do they go? These are the questions that I have as a homeschool parent. I don't know. I don't find them in my couches. I don't find them underneath things. They just truly do disappear. So while you may think that this is sturdy, made of plastic and metal, it's going to last you a while, think again. I would put this on like reorder regularly because this little guy right here is going to get lost. It's going to get lost. So that's my note about the scissors. All right, I get to share one. This may not be like a supply, but a dictionary. So this year we started doing, we call it Freedom School. We basically did like a co-op with gather round units with a bunch of other families. And one of the things that we tried was, you know how at the beginning of our units we have vocabulary? We had every desk have a little dry erase kind of board, and you guys really like that. And what I said was we would take turns. So I would read a word before we started the lesson, and I would have all the students like have to hold it like this, and it was like a race. And then I would say the word, and half of the students who had a dictionary would look it up, and the other half of the students would write it down. So again, we're focusing on the spelling of it, and we would be working through that while they're all digging through learning how to use a dictionary and find it alphabetically. It was fun. It was a valuable skill. And then we would switch. So the other person would have to look it up in the dictionary while the other person wrote it down. Dictionaries are valuable resources to have. Yes, you can do it on your phone. Yes, you can look up anything. But I feel like the ability to understand how a dictionary works, or even as you're looking for it, seeing some of the different words and how it's even laid out, and even is it a verb? Is it an adjective? My kids learned a lot going through this process. And just navigating it. And I didn't have to have a lesson or teach it. It was just a part of gather round and what we did. So that's my recommendation. All right, Janiah, why don't you pull up another one?
A what?
Another supply. Interesting choice. All right, what have you selected? They may not be able to see it. Speak loudly so they can hear you in the mic.
A pen.
What kind of pen?
Red.
Why did you select a red pen?
It's grading, and if somebody gives you an F, you can turn it into an A.
When have you ever gotten an F? And when have you ever turned it into an A? And how often have I graded your work? These are all legitimate questions that I would love to hear your answer to.
I have gotten a bad grade before.
Really?
I turned it into an A.
Thank you for sharing. No more red pens for you. Okay. So, funny story. Jonathan and I were on an airplane flying to a convention up in Canada, and there was a teacher, a college professor who was sitting beside us, and she was marking stuff, and we got into a conversation with her, and she said she can't. Jonathan said something like, shouldn't you be doing that in red? And she's like, we're not allowed. We're not allowed to use red pens because it gives our college students anxiety to see red. And so it's basically, I got in trouble for using red because my students were getting very overwhelmed by the amount of red marks. And I was like, what? I love my red pen. My red pen stands out. My red pen says wrong or right. My red pen says right meter. I think it's brilliant. I love it. In our homeschool, truthfully, we haven't done a lot of marking. We're not like huge on marking. But again, as part of Freedom School, some of my kids actually started asking for it. And I would go back to them and I would say, do you want me to truly grade you? Do you actually want my feedback, or do you just want some light feedback? How much do you want me to hold back, basically? Because they're not actually that used to it. And I think it's a valuable thing for our kids to get used to being graded, being critiqued, having to see that not everything is excellent, having to go back, having to rework things, having to try harder. It's so easy to just whip something out the first time, but to actually have to go back and edit and critique and work on your work and see it through someone else's eyes is important. It's part of the mastery process. And if we're not giving our kids that, then I don't think we're truly preparing them. So I went through one time and I was like, this thought isn't well fleshed out. I don't understand fully what you're saying, or this isn't written in a full sentence, or, well, why like this? And trying to drudge out, and then I had them go back and correct their work. Again, we don't do it all the time, but red pen. Unless you have a high schooler like my son who likes to do everything in pen, even though he can't erase it, drives me absolutely batty. It's just his thing. It's what he does. He's 17 and he's just going to do everything in pen because I guess that's what he does. All right. All right, my turn. I'm going to show this. This. All right, so my must-have school supplies are anything pretty that hold things and organize them. Organization is huge in school. You're gonna hold it for me? Thank you, because my muscles are very weak. So obviously we have pencil crayons in here, but we have a whole bunch of these. I love pretty organizational things and keeping things in their proper places. My perfect system would be my kids putting these the other direction and having them all sharpened, and they don't do that. But at least it's mostly proper. I mean, I see some pencils where they shouldn't be. I see some gel pens. I see a marker. But overall, highly recommend organizational systems. And if you guys have some organizational systems that you want to share, or some really pretty, guys, we like pretty things, post it because we want to see it. So, okay, Janiah, your turn. What are you going to show?
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh. All right, talk about it.
Glue. The only thing you can stick your finger to and then go.
On what?
Just anything.
On anything. You just smear glue all over the place? On windows, on doors?
No, just paper and cardboard.
Okay. Does anyone else's kids literally play with things while they're teaching a lesson? I looked over and my kids are like taping multiple layers of tape all over things. Like are you listening? I don't know. And sometimes they are and sometimes they truly aren't. And so I have to be like, give it to me. Give me the toy. Give me the glue, because they're not listening. So this is another highly elusive thing. This seems very empty. We like glue sticks over wet glue, personally, because this is what happens. This is a pretty This is garbage, guys. There's nothing in here.
We only do that because.
Okay. So I don't know about you, but I have apparently used up empty. I'll probably have some dry, not working things in my school supplies. And those are garbage. So, anyways,
Where did it go?
I have a love-hate relationship with glue. Let's see this one. I have a lot of them because I just buy them at like Costco in bulk. This one's empty too. Oh my
We like purple.
goodness.
We like color.
Why do you put it back? Oh my gosh, this one's empty too. I can feel it. Oh no, there's a little bit of glue. Here you go. I'm able to show you guys a real glue stick.
If it's not really nice purple, we don't use it.
Because it's dried out probably. All right, so glue sticks, apparently, not only do they disappear, the lid doesn't get put on, they get dried out, and they get used up and then put back empty. And so you think you have a glue stick, but then when you go to use it, you realize, indeed, you do not. So dangerous. They're dangerous.
Not empty.
Okay. All right, let's see. Let's show you. I'm going to show you another organizational thing. And then, Janiah, you can show these two together and we'll talk about that, okay? So this is like my Lazy Susan craft organizer. Again, it's not as pretty as I wish it was. It was at one point, but these are removable. So you can take them out and put them on the table or pop it back on. I know that there's like prettier ones, but I just needed ones that we can put on our table that everyone could access everything they needed. And so this is the one that I got. I actually have two of them. Again, we're using this for a larger kind of school setting. So we have a lot of different desks and we got to make sure everybody has stuff. So in the beginning, we started out at big tables, all sat around them. But as a school kind of grew, as our co-op grew, we ended up doing individual desks. And so then I went to kind of individual things that pairs of desks shared. And so things have changed a little bit, but I still am a big fan of just like if you don't have this much in a big family of pencils or something, I don't know, guys. We're not going to last long. So I just like bulk. Jonathan likes bulk food. I like bulk school supplies. In our early marriage, one of our biggest fights that we had was because I spent an exorbitant, which probably wasn't that bad, amount of money at Staples when I first started homeschooling my kids because I got so many school supplies and it made me so happy. It made me so happy. I was like... I love school supplies. So you can't judge me. You're the same way. Paper and pencils. All right, Janiah, show us what you got. All right. How do you even say this one? I was going to look it up before. Ticonderoga. Whatever. Pencils, y'all. These are popular. And we've got the clicky pencils. These are also highly popular. Now, this is like needs to be a poll on our site. Which do you prefer? I have both. And in our little co-op school, we have a number of parents that they like this. They like the feel of it and their kids, use it better. So we have pencil sharpeners, which I don't have to show, but we have electric pencil sharpeners that we use. Again, they don't get sharpened before they get put back, which I feel feelings about. Okay, well, and then of course you have the never run out clicky ones.
It's just click.
Yeah. So Janiah, which do you prefer? And I'll say which I prefer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Close your eyes and point to one. Okay, wait. So know where they are. Look so you know where they are. Okay, ready? Close your eyes and point to one. Which do you prefer? Go. What? You prefer this one?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's sharp.
This is sharp.
It's not as pointy.
So do you like sharpening that when it runs out?
Yes.
I'm this all the way, guys. It's easy. It's fast. I can use like 5 of them. They last longer. They're all going to get lost anyways. So that's my 2 cents. But apparently my kids betray me and choose something different. Okay. So I'm going to show you just a couple things too. If you don't have our planner, if a planner in general, I highly recommend having a planner. The ways ours is set up is that you can use it for different subjects. and it's undated, or you can use it for different kids. Each kid could have their own section there where you could write down, maybe on the day we're doing this, but each kid, this is their different math lessons they're doing, or this is their different whatever, and kind of organize things. I also use almost like just again, this is actually more my work life than my school life, but I organize my time like on a 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 6:30, 7 a.m., 7:30, like that kind of rigidity. And not that I always follow it, but I do find that I have to be as specific as possible with my time, at least on those things that like I've got meetings or a live or things scheduled, so that I'm not missing them. And then I can kind of schedule. I'm very, very, very go with the flow, but I can be go with the flow around the things that I can't be go with the flow. And if I don't have those things kind of locked in, then I miss out. So for me, a planner of some aspect is critical. But if it is a planner that has dates in it, then it is setting me up for failure, because as I said, I go with the flow. I am not type A. I'm definitely type B. And so it's really difficult for me if it has dates, because then I feel like a failure within about 2 to 3 weeks. Start off strong every time, and then I end poorly. And so for me, because that to me, I'm like, I can't tell you the amount of planners and journals that are just put on my shelf and I'll never look at them again, because I just see failure every time I see them. I know, I wish I could change it about myself, but I can't. So instead I choose undated, where I can write the date. And you know what? Sometimes I have to I filled in half a week, you just skip one, or I filled in like half of the week, and I've got to skip a few pages. I just skip what I need to skip, start afresh, new week. And it might be a month later, but this month I'm going to plan. So anyways, planners recommend in some sense. And I'm going to show you my personal favorite pen. I have this, I buy it in bulk, is a Micron. 01, by the way, is my favorite thickness. I find 005 is too thin and it gets easily damaged on the tip. 02, I find it a little thick. I find it shows through things a little bit more. 01, Micron 01. This is the 02. So I'm just being difficult. But I buy these in boxes. I use them for my planning. I use them on any journaling, any writing, my gathered memories, anything I do. I use these pens. I look for them all over. The kids know this is mom's pen. Be gentle with the tip. Like, I love these pens. They are waterproof. So once you do it, you can do like watercolor around them. So I use these when I did art. I would sketch in pencil, and then I would watercolor, and then I would use like a really thin one, like a 005, to like outline it. So even your kids and some of their art stuff, they may appreciate something like that. Other little things that we were going to show them this. Do you want to show them this? What is it? Why don't you tell us what that is?
A painting book.
A watercolor journal, which, by the way, we actually have these available. Just show this first one. So with Ocean Life, we put together watercolor packs that come with watercolor paints. They come with these, which you can take out and then use together with our tutorials to do watercolors. And then you're able to put it back in here and build kind of a book. And there's actually 20 sheets, which is exactly the amount that you would need. So for a lesson. So anyways, check those out on our site if you don't have them and are looking for a watercolor kit that you can use and kind of add to. Those are our main ones. I know that you guys probably have, we didn't get into, there's so many. And I know some of you guys are like the friction pens or pens that are erasable, or, I've got highlighters and different things like that. Here's my thing. I'll say this about school supplies. We can go nuts. There's a lot of beautiful, fun, like I said, paper, stationery, office supplies. I'm all in. I could fill a cart. I could buy it all. And sometimes I do, just to motivate myself, because I love journals, planners, all the things. But at the end of the day, really all you need is some sort of colored pencils, maybe a highlighter. Maybe you can get away without it with a colored pencil. You need pencils. You need maybe scissors and glue. And there's really not a whole lot else you are going to need to do school. And I think that sometimes we can get caught in overkill of feeling like we want to have all of the things, or again, trying to mimic a school kind of setting. But unless you actually do need it, we're really just wasting time and money doing all of that stuff. And so I feel like sometimes we can get overwhelmed by the concept of it and making sure everybody has their notebooks and everybody has, again, if it serves a purpose and you're going to use it, maybe you're going to use, everyone's going to have a composition journal and they're going to do their copy work in it, or whatever it may look like. You're going to get nature journals for everybody, then go for it. But I think the more we add, the more we feel like we have to use, the more money we're spending, the more homeschooling is costing us. And eventually the more discouraged we can become when we feel like it's just becoming, either not used, it's just sitting there, it gets to be a mess, things get dried out. I mean, that stuff is part of the school supplies process. Things are going to get destroyed, they're going to get lost, it's going to get frustrating, and everything that started out pretty and shiny and new is going to eventually be less shiny, less new, and maybe not even there at all. So let's just set the stage, shall we? That may be discouraging, but like this. This has literally been chewed on. It has been gnawed on, and not even maybe by my own kids. I don't know who chewed and gnawed on this. It was probably it could have been anyone. Yummy. Oh, goodness.
Ooh, what's my favorite?
Yes, Ashley said, I'm just so happy I get to buy school supplies instead of having a list. So if your kids are or were enrolled in school and you were used to having like the required list of what you needed, now you get to decide. And that is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be able to personalize your learning. Really go in and get the pencils your kids want. Go in and get things that make them feel like this is theirs, that they can take ownership of their education, of their supplies, and of their learning experience. I think that's super valuable. And yeah, that's super exciting. Okay, are there questions for Janiah? Are there questions for us related or unrelated to this? And maybe we're gonna have to do a poll in the app asking people mechanical or normal pencil. I'm not saying that again. If somebody else would like to go ahead and say that, you can go for it. But I was gonna look it up before because I feel so foolish. Sayla told me, I think we said this on one of our lives with Aaliyah, that she basically, when she's like not sure how to say something, she just goes with it, and then she's like, that's how they say it in Canada. So there you go. Okay, let's see. I can talk about math. I would love to do a separate one about math and really go into it. I also will say two things just quickly, and just time for other people to go ahead and post your questions or comments if you have anything for Janiah or about supplies. But I will say that at our event, so we have our back to school sale that is happening June 25th to 29th. June 23rd and 24th, we are doing an online convention. And this online convention is going to have a session about high school, about how to use our new resources. And we're going to have all of our credit things built out at that point. So you'd be able to see how many credits are in each of our units, what the breakdown is, how to make this work, how to put together a GPA, figure out your GPA, figure out your transcript. So we're going to have a session on that. We are also going to have a session on modular math. So I am going to be going in depth, and we are also releasing a 1-week sample available ahead of time to the people who come to that event. So if you are really wanting to understand it, and you're wanting to get the sample, and you're wanting to hear before anybody else and really get your hands on it, then I would recommend registering for our event for June 23rd and 24th. Otherwise, we will eventually release the 1-week sample for others as well. It will be something that we'll kind of come out with, and people will be able to go in and check it out. And we will have more and more resources on that. It's not releasing until fall for public, so that we have a little bit of time to get ahead. We're already months and months ahead, but we take 8 weeks to write, and we're going to be releasing it every 5. So eventually you guys will catch up to us, which is why we're waiting until fall, so that we can keep it at a pace where you could use this as your math curriculum for the year.
When is Jay's birthday? November 29th.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's a good time of year to have a birthday. What are trends with doing school lightly through the summer, or if we take a break? So we're not trendy kind of people in that we have ideas, but sticking with ideas are hard. And so I have so many times said I'm going to school in the summer, I can't even tell you. and so many times failed miserably. Sometimes we've done some, sometimes we've done none, sometimes we've done just math. My hope for this summer is that we're hoping to do 1 unit through the summer just as a family, and we are hoping to do math through the summer as a family, just to kind of keep us going, keep us ahead on things. Some of our kids have some gaps and we want to use this time to catch up. And so I want to kind of keep it going, but in a very light way, where we could do it like first thing in the morning and then go spend all day in the pool or something like that. So I don't want it to take over our lives. I don't want it to be anything big, but I do see the value in doing a light amount of it. That being said, we do take regular breaks throughout the year, not the same as the school kids, but we do take breaks to just be able to disconnect from school and, always around Christmas and things like that. So yeah, we like to build those rhythms in. All right. Are there any
saw a
other
question.
questions? What was it?
Go down. That side. What is it?
So what is your favorite unit?
Ooh, even though we haven't done it yet, pets.
Why is that your favorite unit if you've never done it yet?
It's animals.
What about North American forest animals?
It's pets. Come on, dogs, hamsters, cats.
See, I have pets to do with my kids and I have debated doing it, but I am also a little scared because once my kids get into their heads that they want a pet, it is like incessant land. And so we have so many pets. We have enough pets. I'm good on the pets. And you just got a hamster. So I don't know if I want to open the door for like, look at all of the cute, adorable things you could have for a pet. And I will say that for the pet unit, we do always talk about the pros and cons, the amount of work involved. But I also think it's an open door that I'm not sure I want to open. Guys, my teeth are an ongoing saga. It's been a journey. It's been some time. And so I have had to I am on a no sugar, low inflammation diet right now and have been for like 3 weeks to promote healing. And I eat terribly. I eat sugar. I eat junk. I am not a health nut. I really am not. Like, I like healthy things and I also like eating non-healthy things. So like, we drink milk, like we're a normal, typical diet. Okay. So all of a sudden, like, the threat of a root canal was like, what do I need to do? I'm in. And it's been the easiest thing for me to I cut sugar, I cut coffee because I couldn't have the milk in the coffee. And I was like, I just cut it. I went to green tea. This is a lemon, ginger, and manuka honey organic tea because I'm trying to promote, low inflammation, and lemon and ginger help. It's not the best tasting, truthfully. My favorite tea is rooibos, Rooibos. It's an African tea and it is delicious. And you add a little bit of cream and a little bit of honey to it. But I have not even been having that with the honey. I have been having like peppermint, green tea, really basic, no dairy. I've been having oat milk lattes. I've been having like fish, which isn't my favorite. Just everything I can to try to heal my teeth. So frustrating.
Can we do what's my favorite school supplies?
Yes. I thought we already said that. Oh, what is your favorite school supply of everything we talked about today? This is why I feel like we all knew this from the way you talked about it. But tell us why it is your favorite.
It does the most damage.
It does the most damage. And there you have it. But so does a Sharpie marker. You just don't remember the damage you guys did with that when you were 3 years old. Damage was done. And so Sharpie markers, actually for a long time, I did not buy those puppies. I was like, not worth it. If we need to write on the side of a glass, let's use nail polish or something. Like I really was not a fan of the Sharpie markers. But we've brought them back a little bit here and there.
Do you have a pet?
Okay. Do you have a pet?
Hamster.
Yes. Janiah has a hamster. And what's his name?
Hammy.
Hammy. Hammy the hamster. Hammy the hamster, we didn't realize until after we bought him that they only have a lifespan of like 1 to 2 years. And Janiah, our family, I'll put it this way, our family is super, everyone except for Jonathan, super, like, we love deeply and we love animals. And like, I was like, I just got her first pet and it has like a lifespan of 1 to 2 years. So I told her right off the bat, I'm like, Janiah, set the expectation low. This thing could die just from being overexcited. Like, so tell us what you do with your hamster while we're doing school and having co-op. What do you do with your hamster?
I hold him, put him in a fanny pack, put him in his ball, and he's so distracted because he just goes like, wee.
He is highly entertaining. Guys, if you are wanting an easy pet that's highly entertaining, watching a hamster run 5 times into the same wall is really funny. And we have 5 cats and we have 2 dogs. And so far, nothing has eaten it. Feels like a win. So does it stink? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Does my 11-year-old daughter care for it and clean it out regularly enough as to my expectations? No. Have I threatened to remove said hamster on multiple occasions? Yes. Hammy has just he lives in tension. Hammy does. And so that's Janiah's pet. Her first one. A couple of the kids have fish as well. Again, Malachi has a bearded dragon. I mean, the only one who doesn't really, Aliyah has fish, but she wants her own like cat. And I'm like, guys, we have so many cats and they'll probably kill it. Like there's just so much happening here.
There's a cat that lived here for about a while. The other cat's killed him.
It's just I'm just like chilling on the pets right now. You know, let's just breathe. Let's just focus on human interaction. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Okay. Oh, Nicole got a tortoise because of pets. I mean, this is what I'm scared of. Oh, I'm going to try that out. The remineralizing. Okay, I'm going to look it up. I'm trying everything. And like the pain goes away a little bit. And then I like have hope. And I mean, everyone's so quick they would have had me do a root canal a long time ago, but I feel like there's no signs of infection. I feel like it's just my nerve needs to heal. And I feel like it's actually both of them. It's a journey, but, okay. So guys, I'll give it like 1 more minute if there's any other questions, but I will tell you, I had wanted to go into a little bit more detail about astronomy, about sci-fi, tell you guys a little bit more about that. And I may do that maybe in next week's live. If you have ideas for these live videos, if you have ideas for units, if you have ideas for kind of small things like we're doing for 4th of July or like we did for the eclipse, anything like that, we would love to hear your ideas and feedback. It is available on our app under the help section at the links at the top. It's also available if you go to, I think it's under contact us. There's a subheading where you can do unit edits, but also feedback. And so if you have any suggestions for anything, really, really, really would value, I go through that. So creating this list of upcoming units, I went through all of your guys' feedback. And I will tell you the amount of people that requested, that's where I got Biblical Feasts from. And we now have Biblical Feasts, right, over on Fully Surrendered. But the amount of people who requested a world religion unit, I do think that I am going to do that next year, as well as other ones. So I base those decisions on your guys' feedback. So I really do value it and would encourage you to post there, post here. I read through comments. So please do let us know if there's anything you want to see for podcasts, for live videos. We're working actually today on coming up with some different ideas. So post them in the comments. Let us know what you'd like to see. We want to make sure that we're offering content that's valuable to you and that is helping you in your journey. And so we're open. We're open to whatever you guys got. All right. Do you have?
It says check out for your tooth.
Oh yes, oil pulling. I'm doing that too.
What is your favorite animal? Dogs.
Wow. Do your kids do any instruments? Do you do any instruments?
No.
Piano.
Oh, yeah, I do Baby Shark.
She's learning piano on her own because can I play? Yes. Do I have time to teach? No. And so my kids have learned many things on their own. It's kind of like the whole thing of like being bored. Oh my goodness. I know what I'm going to talk about next week's live. I know what I'm going to talk about. I saw a reel. It so disturbed me. It so bothered me. It was basically like my unpopular opinion is it was against moms who are essentially more relaxed in their homeschooling, in their scheduling, in the way that they do things, which is fine. I understand that some people are more rigid, that they need that. Sometimes our kids need that. But I don't agree with this whole cancel culture of our society, especially in the Christian realm, saying that like it was literally the end. It was like I'm not okay with lazy parenting and you're just being a lazy parent. And I'm like, whoa now. So I would love to talk about that. I would love to talk about what it means to be more of a relaxed homeschooler. And how, again, that definition of success, I think, can be really damaging. And ultimately, what are you going for? Like, I mean, there's no problem with doing all of the things unless you're losing relationship, unless your family is ultimately suffering from it, unless nobody's remembering anything and you're just spinning your wheels for the sake of feeling good about yourself, well, then I think there is a problem with doing all of the things. So I think it's about a balance. And in the same way that I'm not going to go to somebody and say, if you are doing super rigid curriculum and doing all of the things for your child because they want to be a doctor and they have to get a certain amount of grades, I'm not going to judge you for that and say, well, you are missing the true point of homeschooling. But I think there is a lot of criticism that can come on the other end of things where people are just like, you're basically a lazy parent. The fact that your kid is behind. And I'm like, or they would have been behind anyway, but now there's relationship between us and we're working on it together. I don't know. I would love to talk about that because it really bothered me. It really did not sit well with me. And I think, I mean, we all need the reminder on a regular basis, but to be careful that state your opinion, fine, have your opinion, do what the Lord has called you to do, obviously. But if the way we're doing it is through cutting other people down and being so black and white in that my way, or basically A, you're not a Christian, or B, you're not a homeschooler, or C, you're a terrible mom, I think that's so wrong. I think that's so damaging. And I don't think that that is the way that we're supposed to act according to scripture. I think that we're supposed to say and do things in love. And so, yeah, I would love to talk more about the judgments homeschoolers face and specifically maybe more on the relaxed homeschool side. And just to give those of you who maybe are facing those judgments and then you feel insecure in your decisions for your family, I think sometimes we need that encouragement and that reminder that it's okay to put on the blinders and to focus on your family and just to hear the testimonies of people who have done it this way and seen success in the life of their children, even if it looks different than the world's definition of it. So more to come, but that may be something that we talk about on one of our lives. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up. Janiah, would you like to do school through the summer? Would you like to do school through the summer?
It's a vacation.
Well, we've been like half vacationing for much of the year. So would you like to do school through the summer?
Is
What about
friends
math?
gonna be there?
Well, no, we can do it together. I have a bit of convincing to do, but I've got goals. I just have to now tell my kids these goals and make them reality. So pray for me. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week. As always, please don't hesitate to post, send us an email if you have any questions. Come join us over on the app if you're not there. And otherwise, we'll see you again in a little bit. Bye.
Bye.
We got to go over here too and say
bye.
bye.